samsthaya pratibodhitam bhagavata Narayanena swayam vyasena gratitam purana munina madhye mahabharatam advaitamritavarshini bhagavatim ashtadashaധ്യായിനി Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadeshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsacharnuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagat Gurum. The second chapter is called Shankha Yoga. And the Shankha Yoga, it says about the Atman. It gives the complete idea about the Atman. In the beginning, the Arjuna is going on giving the argument. Then afterwards, the Lord said that this type of weakness should go away. Then only it will be possible for you to understand this subtle, the truth of spirituality. Ashotvan annashochastam pragyabadamscha bhashase gatasuna agatasumscha nanushochanti pandita. Yet the Lord said that you are crying for those for whom you should not have done that. Ashochan annashochastam. That all these laments that you are making, thinking that you have lost so many, but in fact it is nothing has happened to you. That way it says, you have mourning for them who should not be mourned for. Yet thou speakest words of wisdom. The truly wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead. When a person reading this without understanding what is actually the Atman and what is Brahman, he will be confused. The person will be confused because what is this type of teaching? Those who are living, for them, and those who are even dead, for them also you should not think of. Yet thou speakest the words of the wisdom. He is rebuking. The truly wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead. Does it mean that we should become stone-hearted? That we should not have any feeling? What type of words that he said? No, it is not like that. That is that we have to understand how the things are happening. And it says that when we are understanding the real truth that this body is nothing but an illusion. This very interesting way it says, the body is nothing but an illusion. And other thing that is important is our soul. If the soul is not there, then obviously the body has no value. And when the body is there, but the soul has gone out, what we will do with that body? We burn them or bury them. So obviously, you have to understand that the body has no value. It is only the soul, this one. Second, from that sum total consciousness, everything has come. Obviously, whatever you see is nothing but that same sum total. Now, when we see water in a tumbler, in a pot, if you break the pot, water goes down to the river or to the ocean. From the ocean, the water came, and it was in a tumbler, it was in a pot. When the pot breaks, shall we cry? No, because the source, it is going back to the source. If we can understand in that way also, we should not mourn for them who is dead. He has gone back to the source. The Lord says in that way, Ashvatvan anyashochastam. You are grieving for whom you are not supposed to grieve. And sometimes the children, when they play with the dolls and they feel the dolls are also talking, they feel the dolls is hungry, and when that little child is eating, it also feeds something to that doll. At that time, the child really feels the doll is eating, and its doll is feeling hungry. Now, a grown-up person, for that grown-up person, it is all fun. For the child, it is all truth. So in this life, it is so much truth for us that somebody has left me, somebody is not coming to me, like that, all the feelings. So we are naturally reacting accordingly. But the wise person will say, hey, this is like a child's game. When we grow in maturity, understand the spiritual truth, then we say, yes, that is true. Actually, there is nothing. In that way, Natvebaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyama sarve bhayamata param. In the verse number 12, it says, it is not that I have never existed, nor thou, nor these kings. We all existed before, nor it is that we shall cease to exist in the future. Again, in the future, we'll also be there. Swami Vivekananda said, actually, again and again, same thing is going on repeating. All of us, only one or two, they're going out of the rank and they're getting the liberation. Otherwise, those who are there, they are repeating again and again in the same form it comes. It is like a drama. Every night, the same people, the same character, they're enacting. Somebody has become a king, someone is a peasant, someone is a thief, someone is a police officer. And this evening that they perform that, after that they wash their faces, go back. Next evening again they come, enact the same thing. So again and again it is going on. Similarly, in this life, nattam neme jana adipaha. Jana adipa, that means the kings. They are also, previously they were there, present they are there, in future they will be there. I was also there. It's the same way. The Srishti goes on this way. If we ask when the first creation took place, the Hindus are bold enough to say, we do not know. There was nothing like a first creation. It was eternally, it was there. And that is the reason it is not a creation. It is a projection. Same thing is projected. Now, little bit of changes that is coming because of our karma phala. Some because of our wishes, sometimes we become the man, sometimes man, sometimes this, sometimes that, because of our karma phala and wishes. But again, the same thing goes on repeating. Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, and very subtle way, it tells us about the Atman, which is nothing but the consciousness. That consciousness wished to become many, it has become many, and when it became many, the Lord made a rule that this should go accordingly. That rule is called law, eternal law, or rhythm. And that rhythm afterwards became dharma. Because these are the dharma, this will go in this way. When the water, it should be cool. When it is fire, it should be warm, hot, burning. These are the dharmas. of different type of things. So accordingly, this thing will go on. Natvivaham jatu na asam. This all asam means these people. Now, in the 13th verse of the same chapter, it says, Dehi nashmin yata dehi Kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuihati. Dehi nashmin yata dehi. Now, in one body, dehin changes. How it changes? It is the childhood, the youth, the old age. In the same body, it is changing. But we don't cry. Oh, I was a child. Why I have become grown up? Some people may cry, but who is going to listen to that? The obviously all like to be young all through, not the child, not the old, all like to be young. Why? Youth is the prime time, and naturally all like to be the youth. That is the time when the body and the mind are strong, and you enjoy, and you have a lot of opportunities, etc. So they all like to be like that. But when the body is changing, so we don't cry. I went to somebody's house. I saw a beautiful, the curly hair, one gentleman, and with a suit, tie, etc. Very good looking. I told, who is? I thought it is his son. So I told, who is this very good looking gentleman? He put his hand because not a single hair is there, complete bald, and he was putting his hand on his head and say, Swamiji, the one time those hairs were over here. So like that, all has gone. Really, you can't believe the man has changed so much. He was such a good looking, now completely different. So as because he is identifying, otherwise it is impossible. Sometimes we also seeing a baby's photo, we say, oh, very cute looking baby, who is he? Then someone will say, it is you. It is your childhood photo. It may be like that. So obviously, we do not understand when we have changed. Dehi nashmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Childhood, youth, and old age. In the same body, it is changing. Similarly, in this tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuihati. Now, in the body is changing, and the time will come when I will die. So, why to all the time afraid of death? The fear of death is also a bondage. Why? Because ignorance. What is the ignorance? Oh, what will happen to me? What will happen to you? Because before birth, you were not knowing where you are going to be at birth, and then things are going on. Then why again you are thinking, what will happen after my death? Something is already there, so you need not to worry. So that is called avayam. When a person is truly religious, he is not at all afraid of death or birth. He knows things are all done, there'll be no problem at all. So this is the ultimate knowledge. When you get that knowledge of the Atman, that I am that supreme, I am not going to change any time, I am associated with this body that much, that is called the path of knowledge. Now, I am wearing this shirt and the trousers, I am wearing this way, I am looking like this. And sometimes I put on some other dress, I look like different. So that is the way I am just changing. As I am changing my clothing, so I am changing my body. But I am eternal. I am always there. The association with the body, like liking a dress. So if you like a dress like this, you wear like this. Sometimes you are changing, you are changing. So it says like that, Dehi nashmini yatha dehe, Dehina. the one who is inside the body, that means the consciousness, that means the life, associated with the body. But when the body is changing from the childhood to youth to the old age, he never mourn and he never cry. He never bother about that. Similarly, there is a fourth stage, is death. And when that fourth stage comes, it Hindus say six. Jayate, Asti, Vardhate, Viparniyamate, Vipakshiyate, and Mriyate. So these are the six stages. The birth and the death are six steps. So the death will come. You should not mourn. The Arjuna is afraid what will happen to and these people, my friends, my brothers. So that is the way. So that is the way it always goes. So obviously, you should not, oh Arjuna, as because you are a hero, that you should not mourn. You should not mourn. And in the 14th verse, it says, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitashno sukha dukkhada agama ino nitya tam titikshasya bharata. Titiksha, this is a word, it says that if forbearance. Titikshasya bharata. Matra sparshastu kaunteya, the notion of heat and cold, pain and pleasure, and these are all born like this. Only the contact of the senses goes like this. And this is the pure knowledge. Ramana Maharshi, in his life, we hear, he used to go to a cave and he'll be lying down so that the black, very big ants will come and bite. Can you imagine? That is called the path of knowledge. Only simply we are thinking, I am following the path of knowledge, I understand Atman. That is not. When you are practicing, you have to go and lie down, and the ants in thousands, they are coming and biting. You can imagine. Terrible pain. But he is telling to himself, I am not the body. Why should I have to pain? Body is having the pain. I am not. Can you imagine? Another instance that we find in the direct disciple of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Turiyanandaji Maharaj, he was having a carbuncle at his back. Now, the place where he was having that, the doctor told, Swamiji, you have to operate it, but unfortunately, we don't have any anesthesia. It will be terribly painful to open that without anesthesia. It is not possible. He said, no problem. Give me some time, and then I will indicate you can operate. He sat for meditation, took out the mind out of his body, and then gestured. They opted, and he asked them to hold a mirror. He went on seeing what is happening at the back, as if somebody else is being operated. That body was not his. He never felt at all the pain. This is called yogi. You are completely separated from the body. When Swami Vivekananda, when he was very young, he was just practicing meditation, and he was going on pestering Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, give me some experiences of meditation. One day so happened, he went into samadhi, and in the samadhi you forget completely your body. Then he wanted to come back, and he could not find out his hand, his leg, his body. So he was inside the body, and he was talking, but he was saying, where are my hands? Where are my legs? I can't find them. Then another Swami was there. He became frightened. He thought that he has already, Naren is dead, and as a ghost he is talking. So he ran to Sri Ramakrishna, who was on the first floor, and there he went and reported that Naren is behaving like this. Naren means Swami Vivekananda. Sri Ramakrishna, though he was lying down, he said he was pestering for a long time. Let him feel what actually meditation means. So this is the way it happens. We forget completely, but we realize. In this body, they are realizing matra sparshas kaunteya, shita, ushna, sukha, dukkha. And that is the reason sometimes some people they practice like that, but that is okay, is keep practicing. Then one of the direct disciples of Ramakrishna again, Latu Maharaj, Swami Adbhutanandaji. He used to cover his body in the Calcutta that summer, terrible summer. That time he used to cover his body with the blanket and used to lie down in the sun. Can you imagine the terrible condition? And he used to feel cool over there without any disturbance because he should take the mind out and no feeling. Suppose you are in coma, suppose you are not having consciousness, whether they are taking your body properly or just carrying or dragging. Do you feel that? No. Still, if you are detaching the mind from the body, you don't feel. But that is very high level, the condition of the mind. All yogis, all people cannot do that. Matra sparshal. But one word is saying, Lord Krishna, he said, you must practice this austerity. And titiksha bharata. Titiksha, titiksha, titiksha. This is for the monks. This is for the spiritual practitioners, not for the householders. We always mix up. We all, the householders also practicing titiksha. When you are in householder, as a householder, you must enjoy. You must have all those things in your possession. But then, when after the retirement, banaprasthi, then you are slowly giving up. After the banaprasthi period, when you have prepared yourself, then sannyas, brahmacharya, garastha, banaprastha, sannyas. But the sannyasi, they should practice this titiksha. What is titiksha? And it says you cannot even go and tell people I am suffering. When you are suffering, that also you should not share with others. That means you should not have anything in your mind that you are suffering. Titiksha, the forbearance is a real difficult. Now, by mistake, when the Buddhism came, it all got mixed up, then it into society. Jains also, they also started practicing. Householders also the same way practicing. Our economy, our military power, all became. All the teachings are not for all. Different levels are there. Like the brahmacharis, they are concentrated and studying because the information, the knowledge that they will give to the society afterwards. So they should not follow any other thing. So this type of teachings that we find, matra spashasa kunteya, shitashna sukadukkada, agama nitya, tam titikshasya bharata. They have the beginning and the end. And one of our Swami used to say, this shall also pass. Suppose you are very successful and you are very elated and you are all the what's called the congratulation cards are coming, and naturally you are enjoying. You are keeping those cards hanging. There are so many people congratulated me on my success, but a time will come that will also pass. And when you are suffering, and don't think this is the ultimate, I'm going to die. No, this will also pass. This shall also pass. But he taught us, and I really remember him, and the one sentences he used to say, when one day I was complaining against another brahmachari. So I told that he's doing like this, like that. So I was showing my finger like this. He told, hey, freeze. So I froze like this. He said, did you notice one finger of yours is going out to point out that he is bad, whereas three your fingers are pointing to you. Your own hand, three fingers, they are saying you. That means you are finding fault with others. The fault is there within you. So careful. These are the monastic training. You have to see, I must be having something, some problem. That's why I see fault with others. So this is the monastic way. So this type of teaching, when it comes, all are not for everyone. This is in a different way we have to learn. Yamihino vyatha intiti purusham purushashava samadukha sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpati. That calm person who is the same in pain and pleasure, whom these cannot disturb, alone is able, O great among men, to attain immortality. The immortality that we are thinking of. What is immortality? Some people think we will be as it is in the body. And there is a conception in the Hinduism, there are 7 people who are still living, like the Hanumanji, like that in the Ramayana, the Vibhishana, etc., etc. They're all immortal. Maybe, we do not know. I won't say no because I don't have any experience. I won't say yes because I don't have it. But when we find that the Lord Buddha, who has passed away 2,500 years before, but still millions of people are remembering him, that is called immortality. Jesus, 2,000 years before, this is called immortality. So this immortality means the way you should live. I'm not taking the name of Sri Rama, Sri Krishna. They are gods, so that is different. But other people who started doing the tapasya and then attained that height, look at them. They are also immortal. They were not having money. They were not having social status. They were not kings. But still people are remembering them. Who remembered the kings at the time of Jesus? No. Sometimes when you are reading the Bible, life of Jesus, some of the names are coming. Who remembered the names of the kings at the time of Buddha? Nobody cares about. But that means you will be surviving in the hearts of the millions if you are doing some righteous work. So that is the way we should try to live. So there was a beautiful, the sayings, it says, the Tulsi, the Tulsidas said, when you came to this world, you cried, everybody laughed. And the baby, immediately after birth, they cry. But aise karmi chalo, you must perform in such a way, so when you die, you smile, other people will cry for you. They will feel we have lost someone. So that is the way one should live. So this we should learn, and that is the reason we should study Bhagavad Gita. That is the reason we should study the scripture. It is not that as a ritual we study the Bhagavad Gita. Being a Hindu, we should read Gita. Not like that. We must learn, and that also in between the lines, a different type of teachings are there. We must understand that and take that which will benefit us. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhaya rapi drishtanya stanaya tattvadarshibhi. Then 14th one, Yam hi no vyatayente te purusham purusharshava samadukka sukham dhiram somrtatvaya kalpate. Amritatvaya. So this amritattva, because of the eternal life, and if I go to ocean, I become ocean. The small drop of water, it was crying when it was falling from the sky. It generated from the ocean only. Because of the sunlight, and it was vaporized, and then afterwards it became the then cloud, and from the cloud is become a drop of water and falling down. And it was saying, "Oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to die." But when it went to that ocean, what happened? It became ocean. The tiny little drop of water. And similarly, I am the reflection of the Supreme Soul. Within my intellect, that Supreme Soul's reflection is there. But I have identified myself as a male, as Ishatmananda, as a monk, as this. And because of that identity, I am completely separated from the ultimate one. Now, what is the spiritual practice? To break this identity, you must know yourself. Atmanam vidhi, know thyself. And what is that Atma? Then we go on analyzing, am I this body? If it is so, I am putting my hand on my chest and say, I am. But this body was a tiny little baby on the lap of the mother. Now it grew up. Now it has become like this. Now, if they say, which one is you? Which body is you? We won't be able to find out. Because again, this body will be different. This body will be different. So body is not I. When I am pointing to the body, body cannot be the I. If I say the body is I, it will be like telling my clothing's I. Because it is the sometimes red shirt, sometimes blue shirt, sometimes black shirt, sometimes white. Am I like that? I am not that. So body is not me. Okay. Is this the mind? The mind cannot also be so. Because of the same reason, it is changing. When I say I to this mind, when I was young, my mind was different. When I am grown up, my mind is different. So when we boast, I, which that I, we do not know. And that is the foolishness. And do you know, as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna pinpointed, because of that mistake, we suffer. Because of the I, the ego, we are bound. And because of the bondage, we are suffering. So this is the reason we have to break it. And we have to embrace everything. What is religion? Is becoming God. And what is God? Unselfishness is God. It's a very simple definition that Swami Vivekananda gave. If we only remember this, unselfishness is God. The more you are unselfish, more you are close to God. When you are completely unselfish, you are God yourself. It doesn't mean that you have to have four hands. It is only unselfishness. Now look at us, and you need not to give any accounts to anybody. Just note it down. Am I truly unselfish? You'll find no. Maybe 90% selfish, 10% unselfish. And 10% unselfishness is also a great thing. But look at those who are completely unselfish. For them, it is no problem to sacrifice their own life. So that is called unselfishness, pure unselfishness. Our goal is to reach to over there, but at the same time, there are some limitations. So we have to slowly go. What is the problem? I. And what the I does, it makes a group. This is my father, my mother, my wife, my husband, my family, my society, my country, my religion. All these slowly, I am associated, and I stand very strong to guard all this. Then what will happen afterwards? After my death, where I am going to go, I do not know. As I was telling one of the young man, very against some enemies. So he goes on talking. Whenever you meet him, he will be talking about that. Then I told, you are a Hindu, right? Like, yes. And you believe the karma phala? Like, yes. And in Bhagavad Gita it says, at the time of your death, whatever you are thinking, you will become that. Not 24 hours you are thinking about them. And what will happen at the time of your death? That time also same thoughts will be there in your mind. So your soul will cross the border without passport and you will land over there. What will happen to you? Be careful. Be careful. So it is we actually make ourselves. We are the maker of our own destiny. Ma Sharadamani Devi said, a group of the white-skinned people, we call them Shaib, maybe from Europe or whatever, they were appreciating some of the temples in South India. Ma Sharadamani Devi was also there. And when they were appreciating, Mother looked at them and then soliloquized. Look at these people. In their last birth, they constructed this temple. They constructed this temple. And in this life, they have come to appreciate it. Life is this. Whether we believe it or not, it is like this. So obviously, we have to be very careful. Shall we constantly go within this circle, or shall we break and become the ocean? Ultimately, is the goal to become the ocean, to become God. As Swami Vivekananda said in Bengali, Chile poshu, hoiacho mano, ebar devota hoite hoibe. You were all selfish like the animals. Now you have become human, little considerate for others. Now, this is the opportunity to become God. And what is God? Complete unselfishness. When we are learning this, na sato vidyate bhava, asato vidyate. Unreal never was, and real never is not. The original thing is always there. Sometimes we see one thing and superimpose something on that, and we think in that way. There's a very classical instance is there. Asata. Asata means it is not there, but sata, it is there. Now, suppose something is not there, can you see something on that? No. A group of Buddhists, a school of Buddhism, they say everything has come from nothing. Not all the Buddhists, only one group. Everything has come from nothing, and we are going back to nothing. Then the opposition, the Vedanta says, no, it cannot be. Something cannot come out of nothing. There must be something. What is that something? This moment you are not understanding, but it is there. And the one excellent the story in the Upanishad, it says the one boy came and told what is this Brahman? What is this soul that you are talking about? He asked his guru. Guru said, can you bring a fig from the tree? A fig tree was there. He brought a fig. Break this fig. He broke it. And inside there were small, tiny little seeds were there. Take one seed. It was so difficult to take out a single seed. And somehow you took it out. Now break it. He somehow opened it. What is there? It says nothing. The Guru said, no, there is something. You cannot identify in the tiny little seed, but a huge fig tree is there. In the tiny little seed, the fig tree is there. Now, if you plant it, a fig tree will come up. Where from it is coming? Similarly, we do not see the Atman, the Brahman, which is consciousness, which is present everywhere. And oh, it was not there. It cannot be. It is there. Now, asato vidyate bhava. There was not. No, it cannot be. It is always there. Now, abhava vidyate. Abhava. It was vidyate sata. The sata, the truth, and that ultimate goal, it is always there. You cannot say it is not there. Ubhayoropi trishtanya stanayo tattadarshibi. The man possessed the knowledge of the truth, fully know both these. So when you are a realized soul, what will happen? You will know this is both. Sometime we see it is not there. Sometime we see it is there. Whether you understand or not, it is there. Thank you, friends. I think we should stop over here today. It is 8 o'clock now, and I have some other things to do. And thank you for your interest in studying Bhagavad Gita. Very good.